The Indian military has emerged as the biggest counterweight to Chinese bullying in the entire Indo-Pacific region. And the Philippines now wants more Indian defense equipment after the BrahMos missiles to defend its interest in the volatile South China Sea region. News portal IADN Center has quoted the Philippine Army chief, saying Manila aims to procure more Indian Army missile systems, Indian Navy warships, as well as Indian Air Force fighter jets to keep the Chinese aggression away from its own shores. After repeated incursions by Chinese Navy and Coast Guard into its exclusive economic zone, especially near the Scarborough Shoal, the Philippines now seeks Indian military arsenal to make its own forces battle-ready. Moreover, Manila even wants India to join the squad against China, which also includes the United States, Japan, and Australia. General Romeo Brawner, Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, confirmed Manila's interest in Indian defense tech and equipment. While speaking to news agency PTI, General Brawner expressed satisfaction with India's crown jewel, the BrahMos missile system, and emphasized their strategic value in countering China's naval aggression. He remarked, quote, "We are looking at the possibility of procuring more missile systems and other platforms from India. We already have the BrahMos system. We are happy with them. We are still waiting for the delivery of more components, but so far they are creating a very good deterrent effect in the South China Sea," unquote. As a result of the increasing Chinese bullying, which may spark into a major conflict in the Indo-Pacific, the Philippines seeks deeper military collaboration with India through the Quad Alliance, with a focus on the South China Sea. To build deterrence capabilities, the Quad nations have already conducted joint maritime activities in the South China Sea for over a year already. General Romeo Brawner confirmed this while speaking at the Raisina Dialogue in New Delhi recently. Quote, "Together with Japan and our partners, we are trying to expand the Quad to include India and probably South Korea," unquote. Now, the Chinese imaginary 9-dash line has been deemed illegal by the International Court in The Hague. But still, the CCP does not respect the maritime economic rights of all its neighbors, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Japan, and Indonesia. Chinese bullying has now become the biggest threat to regional peace in decades. General Brawner claimed, quote, "I am not afraid to say that China is our common enemy. So we must collaborate, maybe exchange intelligence," unquote. He especially warned against China's illegal, coercive, and disruptive grey zone tactics to claim territory and build militarized artificial islands in the South China Sea region. Also present in this discussion in New Delhi was his counterpart from Japan, along with the Chief of Indian Navy, the commander of US Indo-Pacific Command, as well as Australia's Chief of Joint Operations, all present on the same stage at the Raisina Dialogue for a panel discussion on security in the Indo-Pacific region. Similar to the Quad Alliance, the Squad is being described as a collaborative effort focused on military aspects like intelligence sharing, joint exercises, and operations. Indian government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi has yet not confirmed its membership to this Squad grouping created to counter China. However, reaffirmed its commitment to ensure a peaceful and stable Indo-Pacific region. In fact, the Indian Navy Chief Admiral D.K. Tripathi stated at the same event that New Delhi is closely monitoring any Chinese vessel engaging in undeclared military work in the Indian Ocean region. Earlier, India delivered multiple batteries of the BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles and launchers to the Philippines in a deal valued at $375 million in April 2024. The BrahMos is being deployed by the Filipino Navy just 250 kilometers away from the Scarborough Shoal, a resource-rich region in Manila's EEZ that the Chinese encircle almost every day. General Brawner's comments came only a month after reports of the Philippines looking to buy Indian Akash air defense system. Official Indian sources revealed to the Reuters news agency that Manila is eyeing a deal with New Delhi this year itself, worth more than $200 million for Akash. Hinting on the acquisition, General Romeo Bronner said in a speech in February this year, quote, "The procurement has already been incorporated into our appropriations, meaning it was listed in last year's budget. The process is now in motion. Acquisition mechanisms are actively being implemented," unquote. Now, Philippines' military modernization comes as tensions between Manila and Beijing have escalated in the West Philippine Sea, where the two have had multiple clashes in recent years. From 190 vessels in 2021, the Philippines is now seeing an average of 286 Chinese ships around Manila's maritime zone. Chinese Navy threatened Philippine sailors with axes and knives, which resulted in one sailor even losing a finger. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. warned the CCP against any act of war, while another security official stated that China is pushing them to the wall and warned that all options are on the table for Manila's response, including new international lawsuits. However, China continues with its aggressive posturing. A Chinese Coast Guard monster ship patrolled the hotly disputed Scarborough Shoal in recent days and came as close as 77 nautical miles to the mainland. But what's behind this Chinese aggression? China's Coast Guard is equipped with 225 ships of over 500 tons and more than 150 ships and ocean-going vessels displacing at least 1,000 tons. China is using naval intimidation tactics to back its sweeping claims to the sovereignty over the entire West Philippine Sea. There are estimated to be vast reserves of 11 billion barrels of untapped oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. China also aims to gain complete control of major international sea lanes passing through the South China Sea, which carries 1/3 of global shipping and claims $5.3 trillion worth of goods transits. Satellite imagery reveals Chinese land reclamation efforts in the South China Sea. China has constructed ports, military installations, deployed fighter jets on these artificial islands, as well as the Woody Island. Xi Jinping has told his military to be battle-ready and never ruled out the use of force to assert Chinese claims. As a result, Beijing has sharply ratcheted up its harassment of other Southeast Asian nations. Given the recent India-China border standoff as well along the line of actual control, should India also boost its own military alliances by joining the squad? The Defense Acquisition Council, chaired by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, has approved procurement proposals worth 54,000 crore rupees as part of an attempt to accelerate defense acquisitions by 10 to 15%. Some of the key approvals are 307 indigenous ATAGS artillery guns worth 7,000 crore rupees and new T-90 tank engines and AWACS aircraft for the Indian Air Force. Varunastra torpedoes to enhance anti-submarine warfare are to be supplied to the Navy. These acquisitions under the Year of Reforms 2025 are aimed at expanding India's defense capabilities, reducing foreign dependence and creating jobs. Deal to buy 31 MQ-9B Predator drones from the US. The agreement to arrive soon will include domestic production facility for 21 of these drones, advancing India's defense industry. The long endurance and high altitude drones will augment intelligence, surveillance and strike power, of which 15 Sea Guardians are assigned to the Navy and 8 each to the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. The Predator drones, along with Hellfire missiles and precision bombs, will strengthen India's security in the face of regional uncertainties. The deal also advances India-US ties and enhances India's drone manufacturing ecosystem. Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.